For this next part, class, we're going to have a go using our brain method in order to divide. So we're still sticking with the formal written method, and you'll notice that our steps to success are the same as they were for when you were trying to use the images. Just like before, we're going to follow our steps to success, this time using our brain method. So step 1 says, lay out the numbers using the formal style. So once again, that requires us to use what we call the bus stop method. And if you remember, our divisor, which is the number we are dividing by, goes outside the bus stop. So in this case, number 5 goes here. And then our dividend, which is the number we are dividing from, in this case 732, goes inside the bus stop. Just like so. Now, step 2 tells us that we have to calculate how many times the divisor goes into the largest place value digit, which would be this number here. So how many times does 5 go into 7? Now, there's different ways you can do this. If you know your 5 times table in your head, you know 5 times 1 will give you 5, 5 times 2 will give you 10, and that's too far. So we've gone much too far for that. So let's cross that one out. So we know 5 times 1 gives us 5. So we'll put the 1 up there. Now, you'll notice in step 4 it says, if there is a remainder, which there is because we've only got 5, we put the answer in place, which we have, which is the 1, but put the remainder next to the digit you'll be dividing next. So we'll be dividing the 3 next, and we have a remainder. How much do we have left over? Well, 5 times 1 is 5. Well, we've got 6, 7, which means we've got 2 remainder. So we'll just cross out that 7. We're done with that. So we'll go on to the next number here. So how many 5s now go into 23? Again, using our knowledge of the 5 timetable, we've got 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 5 is 25, but again, we've gone too far with that, so we can't use that. We've gone past 23. So we know 5 times 4 gives us 20, but again, we have a remainder. So we're going to have to carry that remainder over to the ones, to the next number we're dividing by. So from 20 to 23, we've got 3 remainder, don't we? Because if we add on 3, we'll have 23, so we've got 3 remainder. So we'll carry that over. And again, we can use our knowledge of the 5 times table to work out how many 5s go into 32. So let's continue from where we left off. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 6 is 30, 5 times 7 is 35. Whoops, we've done it again, we've gone too far. So we know 5 times 6 gives us 30. How much more do we need to reach 32? Well, we had to add on 2 to give us 32, which means we have a remainder. We have a remainder of 2. Now, if you can remember, back in the images video, we did say that's all well and good. This answer here, 146 remainder 2, is a perfectly good answer. But sometimes, because we're now in year 6, a question in our SATs paper as well might ask us to give our answer in decimals. So what do we do there? Well, remember, to the right of the units, or the ones, is a decimal point. So again, we'll put a little decimal point in there. And to the right of that, there's always a placeholder. In this case, the placeholder is 0. It may be invisible, but it's always there. And we carry our remainder 2 over to the placeholder. And we try to work out how many 5s go into 20, or 20 tenths. Alright, and again we use our knowledge of the 5 times table. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, hold on, look at that. We've got it bang on. So we don't have any remainders this time. We've done 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, which means, as a decimal, our answer is 146.4, or 146 remainder 2. So, going back to what we originally had, here's our working out. Let's just check against our steps to success whether we've managed to actually do all of these. So let's check this, shall we? So, step 1, lay out the numbers using the formal style, which we have. It's in the bus stop method. The dividend is on the inside, and the divisor is the number on the outside. Good. Number 2, calculate how many times the divisor goes into the largest place value digit, which again we've done, and we've written the answer above it. Step 3, calculate how many times the divisor goes into the next largest place value digit, which we have done. Step 4, if there is a remainder, which there has been here, here as well, put the answer in place, which we did, and put the remainder next to the digit you'll be dividing by next, which again we have. And finally, in step 5, it says continue this method until you reach the end of the number. And again, we've done that. So we've ticked off our step of success, and we've successfully managed to answer this question. Now, one last thing before we end this video is I wanted to mention a question like this. Now, because we're in year 6, you're going to find some questions like this a lot, especially when it comes to your SATs test. Divide by 14. Now, you may not know your 14 times table, but what you can do is add up in your 14s. So if you're stuck trying to work out, right, I have no idea how many 14s go into this. Well, let's say we've got this so far, all right, and you don't know how many 14s will go into 38. Well, let's write it out down the side. Now, you can do this on your SATs paper as well when it comes to it, and we'll just keep on adding 14. All right, so we add on 14, so we know that's 28. Add on another 14, which means it will be 42. Add on another 14 will give us 56. Add on another 14 will give us 70, and so on like that, until you get close to the number needed. So for instance, in this case, number 38, we know 14 times 2 will give us 28, and we're going to have a remainder left over, which will be remainder 10. Alright, so just because a number will sometimes look like this and ask you to divide by a 2-digit number, don't let that scare you. Just remember to write out your times tables somewhere on your page going down like this. Just remember what you learned before about multiplication. It is just repeated addition over and over.